Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Friday, January 3rd, 2000. And on the market front, it's down across the board from Asia to Europe to US. But what is up is gold and oil. Yeah, and so too is Bitcoin. So what happened? Well, you know what happened. Yesterday, the United States decided to assassinate the top general of Iran. This was considered the number 2 guy in the whole country. Tracking trends is an understanding of where we are, how we got here, so we can see where we're going. So the how we got here has been detailed over and over in your Trends Journal, in Trend Alerts, in Trends in the News broadcasts, and on my interviews with hundreds and hundreds of radio, TV stations, and podcasts and broadcasts around the world. This is from June 15th, 2017. Trend alert. Iran war coming. World War III. Market crash. Get ready for the next war. It may be the war to end all wars and much of civilization. The Trends Research Institute has identified a series of critical geopolitical events, many barely hitting the mainstream media. The war trend we forecast is driven by heated rhetoric and now unsubstantiated claims that have deep political roots. And now military maneuvers and regional news events have further distorted Iran as an arch enemy. Of course, I'm not reading the entire trend alert. It's a very long one. But I want to hit some high points here so you can see how low we've gone. This is a very, very sad day for me. As a trend forecaster, and now it's my 40th year of doing this, I look into the future. And what just happened with the United States attack against this general in Iraq, the Iranian general, to me is the beginning. The first shot has been fired of World War III. This now clearly defined "let's hate Iran" trend was popularized during the 2016 U.S. presidential election when then-candidate Donald Trump repeatedly and aggressively denounced the Iran anti-nuclear deal that Barack Obama's administration orchestrated. Quote, "The worst deal ever made in the history of mankind," Trump proclaimed repeatedly. Playing the Trump card on Iran, he branded the country as, quote, "the number 1 terrorist state." The number 1 terrorist state. I mean, after all, Iran invaded Iraq under the proof that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. Oh no, that was the murder of George W. Bush and all the others that supported him, along with the American media and the prostitutes who worked for them. Oh no, I know that Iranian, they invaded Afghanistan. It's their longest war in their history. No, that was America too, huh? Yeah, we got to get that guy bin Laden. So we're going to destroy the country and occupy it. No, it was Iran, that terror, the worst, the number 1 terrorist state. I don't like that guy, Gaddafi, he got to go. No, that was the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama. Assad has to go. Oh, yeah. And all the others that supported him. Hillary Clinton, Samantha Power, Susan Rice, the Condoleezza Rice, the Cheneys, the Wolfowitz, and most of Congress. That's the number one terrorist state. The Yemen war, yeah, launched from the United States under the administration of Barack Obama, when the Saudi ambassador announced they were going to invade Yemen. And the United States has been selling them the weapons to create the worst humanitarian crisis on earth. But no, it's Iran that's the worst, or the number one terrorist state, according to Trump. Upon taking office, a parade of U.S. generals and a cast of White House militarists in Trump's administration have vowed swift, decisive military action against Iran at the slightest provocation. We'll get into what the provocation was for the assassination. Remember, this is 2017. Secretary of Defense James Mad Dog Mattis, who has branded Iran as the world's chief recruiter of terrorists, has a hate Iran viewpoint that dates back decades. In 2012, he infamously claimed that the U.S. faces three severe threats: Iran, Iran, and Iran. Then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said, quote, the Trump administration has no intention of passing the buck to future administrations on Iran. The evidence is clear. Iran's provocative actions threaten the United States, the region, and the world. What provocative actions? Oh, invading Iraq, Afghanistan, overthrowing the governments of Libya, Syria. Oh, and Iran with the 800 military bases around the world. The United States is, to me, the number one terrorist state by its actions, and by their deeds you shall know them. The wars are in front of us. They're never ending. And the United States just passed the biggest military budget in history. And only 48 people in the House of Representatives voted against it. When Tillerson joined President Trump in Saudi Arabia in May, he made his mission abundantly clear, announcing that restraining the threat of Iran to the region and world was the main thrust of the Trump administration's Gulf nations trip. CIA has Iran Center. Moreover, earlier in June, it was announced that the Central Intelligence Agency has established a new operation, the Iran Mission Center, to specifically mine intelligence about Iran, CIA Director at that time, Mike Pompeo, said. Quote, whether it's enormous increased capacity to deliver missile systems into Israel from Hezbollah, their increased strength in and around Mosul with Shia militia, the work they've done to support the Houthis to fire missiles against the Saudis, the list of Iranian transgressions has increased dramatically, Pompeo said. What right does America have to be in Iraq? We're still there on a war based on lies. Remember, this whole place was divided up after World War I. You see those straight lines they got? Yeah. But no, we'll determine what the borders are. Against the Saudis, huh? Yeah. The Saudis that illegally invaded a foreign nation. The Saudi gang that was created in 1934. And after their gang got created, you know what they tried to do? That's right. Invade Yemen. And you know who they went after? The Houthis. But Saudi Arabia is America's great ally. Yeah, you know that place. We don't have ballot boxes. Hey, women are allowed to drive now. You want to talk about a terrorist nation? And in keeping with the deep-rooted anti-Iran agenda of the Trump administration, Michael Dark Prince DeAndrea, also referred to by his colleagues as Ayatollah Mike, has taken the helm of this new arm of the CIA. I mentioned to you where the markets are going. Markets are going down. If this continues, you're going to see oil prices, as I have been forecasting for a long time, spike above $100 a barrel. If that happens, it's going to crash the global economies and equity markets. Gold today, as I had forecast, is now up over $22, above the 1,550 mark, which is a very critical point. Again, your Trends Journal, and there's much, much more that we've been writing about over the years. So just a review of how all this happened. American airstrikes stir anger from Iraqis. So this is the American airstrikes that happened. Huge, sometimes violent protests began erupting across Iraq in October as people angry about unemployment, corruption, poured into the streets for 12 weeks. More than 500 people have been killed, nearly 20,000 injured, according to the United Nations Special Envoy in Iraq. But the United States took these strikes on Friday, last Friday, they took them on Sunday, following rocket attacks on a military base in Kirkuk. And the reason for these strikes was it killed an American contractor and wounded 4 soldiers. An American contractor. Could anybody call that a mercenary? Or maybe he was doing construction work. Baghdad to review U.S. ties after attack. It's Financial Times. Big story. Baghdad has warned it will review its relationship with Washington as Iraqis condemn U.S. airstrikes on Iranian-backed militia that killed at least 27 fighters and threatened to escalate tensions in the region. Washington launched strikes against the Hezbollah group over there on Sunday in retaliation for a rocket attack that targeted a military base in northern Iraq hosting American personnel, which killed a U.S. contractor. Washington has blamed Iran for a missile and drone attack that struck the heart of Saudi Arabia's oil infrastructure in September, as well as sabotage attacks on tankers in the Gulf in May and June. Not one shred of proof. Not one piece of evidence. And just as they're saying now that the reason for killing the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards, Soleimani, is that, according to Pompeo, our now Secretary of State, he said that the decision was made, a serious decision which was necessary. There was an imminent attack. When asked what the imminent attack was, he refused to say what it was. This is murder in the first degree. The first shots of World War III have been fired. If we don't occupy peace, we are going to die in war. As I've been making clear over and over again, The Iranians are not the Yemenis, the Iraqis, the Syrians, the Libyans, the Afghans. These are the Persians, and they've been around a long time. They're very sophisticated, and they have the sophisticated weaponry and know-how to retaliate. And as I listen and watch what's going on, I see how the people get so easily roped in. They'll be tying yellow ribbons around everything, and waving their American flags, and putting them on the aerials of their cars, just like they did with Afghanistan. Because this is going to escalate if it's not stopped now. And we have sick people in charge. They're mentally ill people. Only people with murderous minds commit these kinds of acts. Political reaction fell along familiar party lines. Buoyant praise from many Republicans, and a string of Democratic statements that criticized Soleimani, blamed for the deaths of hundreds of American servicemen during the Iraq War. You have no business being there. Could anybody in the media say this? Could any person with integrity, dignity, and self-respect say this? We are not supposed to be there. It was an illegal war. It was a war crime based on lies. The spokesman for Donald Trump's campaign, Kelly McEnany, or NNA, said on Fox News, you ready? That the killing was, quote, the greatest foreign policy accomplishment, I would say, in decades. I would say you're really stupid. Or maybe I should say you're really ignorant. Or maybe I should say you'll say anything. The greatest foreign policy accomplishment, I would say, of the decade, if not our lifetime. If not our, this is a foreign policy accomplishment. The people are going to buy this crap because this is going to heat up. And sent, quote, the unmistakable message, you ready for this? That if you mess with Americans, you will pay a price as a terrorist. Right? You will pay a price. Oh, Miss Kayleigh, are you going to go fight? You're going to send your kids? Husband, boyfriend, whatever? Girlfriend, whatever the trip is? You think the senator's sons are going to go? Hey, Trump, you're going to send Jared and your other boys to go fight? And Trump, you're going to fight, lead the charge. You couldn't run up a flight of stairs, but you'll send other people to go do your dirty work. The Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, vowed that severe retaliation awaits Soleimani's killers. Before the attack, Trump warns Iran as risk of wider Iran conflict grows. All the facts you hear. Is a very sad day in America and not the best way to start off a new year. We need peace on earth. As you well know, I am a warrior for the Prince of Peace, and I celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace because Jesus Christ is my kind of guy. I want peace. I don't want these freaks. Look at them. Murdering people around the world, stealing my money to do it. Do you want them to take your money? How hard you work for it? Stealing it to give to the military-industrial complex? Think about this. Not long ago, World War II. Germany, France, England, Holland. The top countries of the world. The best of the best. Bombed, occupied. Now it's a whole new world war. Gone, dust. Hypersonic weapons, cyber attacks, drones after drones after drones, carrying chemicals, biological warfare, deadly, deadly armaments. It'll destroy life on Earth. The first shots of World War III have been fired. Behind this move also, as I've noted in our Trends Journal, is the triangle of death that has been formed by the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel, aimed at Iran. Peace on earth, goodwill to men and women. It's a new year. It's up to us to change the future. Please do what you can to go to www.occupypeace.com and give a gift of peace before we die in hellish death. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.